Okay. Right now, it's 7 on Fox 61, Connecticut's news station. The manhunt continues this morning after a deadly shooting rampage in Maine. Good morning. Thanks for being with us, America Arias.
And I'm Tim Lammers. Just several law enforcement agencies are still looking for Robert Card, the man who's accused of killing 18 people in Maine Wednesday night. Fox 61's Keith McGilvery joins us in the Breaking News Center.
Keith, good morning.
Yeah, Tim and Erica, good morning. Let's get right to it. So a number of schools and businesses closed once again today as this manhunt really intensifies. All kinds of folks involved in the search for Robert Card. Thousands of people living in the area being asked to shelter in place day 2 here. And last night, what a scene. Law enforcement surrounding a home associated with Card, this in Bowdoin, Maine. I watched this unfold live. It was pitch black largely, with the exception of the lights you're seeing from these emergency vehicles. A number of armed and well-uniformed members of the first responder community there at that property. At one point, officers asked TV crews to turn off their camera lights around that scene there as to not draw out any of the first responders who were there. Police yelling through a megaphone at the home, warning him to get out of the house. So that went on for the better part of about 90 minutes or so. Maine State Police say that the announcement you just heard was standard when they surround a home. Authorities say Card was not there, and they eventually left the scene. A reminder for folks here, we can't share this photo enough. This is who investigators are looking for. He's 40 years old. His name again, Robert Card, accused of shooting and killing at least 18 people at a restaurant and bowling alley in Lewiston, Maine, Wednesday night. More than a dozen people injured. As we've told you, Card is an Army reservist with a history of mental health issues. Canada Border Service Agency is issuing an alert for its officers in the U.S.-Canada border to be on the lookout for him. Fox 61 speaking with Mike Lawler. Now, he's an associate professor of criminal justice at the University of New Haven. We wanted to try to get some insight into law enforcement and what might be involved in their search at this point.
The good part about this part of Maine is very sparsely populated, so it's not like you're managing a huge population. The bad part is it's also very rural, so there's lots of places to hide and go to ground, as they say.
And so we talk about the questions that are remaining here. One thing he says that law enforcement needs to try and figure out is how far the suspect may have traveled after abandoning the car. Was he able to get into another car? He was at a boat launch. Did he travel by water? We know the Coast Guard is involved as well. Or could he be on foot? Robert Fuller, a special agent in charge of the New Haven FBI, saying in a statement, in part, we have deployed New Haven Field Division FBI investigative personnel to Maine in support of their search efforts and any additional assistance that they may need. Now, as the search continues, we're beginning to hear from the families of those who have lost loved ones. Want to talk to you about 56-year-old Joseph Walker. He died Wednesday. Police say he charged the gunman with a butcher knife to try and stop him. His dad says this is a nightmare that horrifically this family has lived through before.
It brought me back to approximately 25 years ago when I lost my daughter in a car accident. It brought me to my knees once again. When my youngest son told me that he thought that his brother, my son, was dead, it just crumbled me all over again and brought me back to just thinking, how bad can life be, and why are we as people punished in these ways? I'll never, I'm a Christian. I go to church. I believe in the Lord. I believe in Jesus Christ. But why do we have to go through these kind of miserable, miserable times?
Hard to put into words how you feel for that, Dad. Just horrible there. When we talk about this manhunt, that it is very much underway this morning. When we talk about the scope of it, I just checked the numbers here. At 7 o'clock, more than 175 school districts and other kind of community spaces are shut down again today as a safety precaution as this search continues. Tim and Eric, I've also been watching the live feed from our sister station out of Portland, Maine, and their reporters are stationed at places that typically would be very busy. Gas gas stations, you name it, this time of the morning as people get up and out the door, typically to either go to work or school, and they are very, very quiet this morning.
Yeah, eerily quiet.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of places to go get food. There's not a lot of places to go do your daily business like you would in Lewiston, Auburn. You know, and Lewiston is the second most populous city in Maine, from my understanding. This is not just sort of a backwater town with only a few people. This is really disrupting life for a lot of people up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, Keith,
Did want to say, I don't know if we have time for this, but
Yeah, Keith, we're hearing that a big Hollywood name has a really close connection to Lewiston.
Yeah, I'm learning this myself for the first time this morning. One of our producers, Bill, had found this for me. We're talking about Hollywood actor and former Grey's Anatomy star Patrick Dempsey. He apparently is from Lewiston, and he took to Instagram some 6 million plus followers just saying that he's shocked and deeply saddened by last night's tragedy. This was posted last night, so that would make sense. In his hometown of Lewiston, Maine. Maine's great strength, he says, is a sense of community, and now we're being asked to come together to support everyone who's been devastated by this senseless act. He says, my family and I are heartbroken for the victims, their families, and this community. So one reaction there. Also want to point out, coming up new in our next hour, Connecticut's former governor, Daniel Malloy, went on to be in charge of the University of Maine system there in Maine. He is reacting to all of this, of course, with a history and memory to what we all saw through Sandy Hook. His insight coming up new in our 8 o'clock hour. But for now, in the Breaking News Center this morning, I'm Keith McGilvery, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Keith, thank you.
Keith, yeah, thanks so
of course,
much.
Fox 61 will keep you up to date on the latest coming out of Maine and the national reaction to the latest mass shooting. You can scan the QR code on your screen right now to get a link to download our free news app. You can also find it anytime on the Apple App Store or on Google Play.